Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe here on this Wednesday evening. Pretty cold over here in the DC area. Hope all is well with you wherever you are. And another great session lined up today. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of real estate partnerships, real estate investing partnerships. I know that's a hot topic, so I wanted to kind of talk about it. A lot of people, talk about the benefits of it, but don't really talk about the cons. So there are pros and cons. And the goal today is kind of share with you my perspective about real estate investment partnerships. They do work. They can work. A lot of people have done it successfully, and but there are pitfalls, and there have been failures. They can be very painful failures. The way I see it, real estate partnership is almost like a marriage. A marriage is great if you marry the right person. If you don't, then it can be not great. Let's just put it that way. So that's the same thing I think we should view about partnerships. They can be great. They can get you to where you need to go to a lot faster. From an investing perspective, from a financial freedom perspective, from a cash flow perspective, it can be great. But there are some pitfalls, and that's what I'm going to kind of talk about today. So so that's the title. It's going to be the pros and cons of real estate investing partnerships. And as usual, we're going to have a Q&A session towards the end. My internet's a little choppy today, so I apologize if it's it's not the greatest, but bear with me. But before I get too far, I do want to mention that I will be. Today is February the 1st. So tomorrow, February the 2nd, I will be speaking at 7 p.m. At the DC Real Estate Meetup. I'm the guest speaker, DC Real Estate Meetup. And that's in Washington, D.C., in the Capitol Hill area. And it's 2224 or 224 2nd Street, Southeast D.C. To register and to get more information, you can sign up at this website, www.dcrealestatemeetup.com. That's where you can register and you can sign up for tomorrow. It's in DC in the Capitol Hill area, 224 2nd Street in Southeast DC. So it's going to start at 7 o'clock, and I'll be speaking about what I do, market cycles, successful strategies in this kind of market, and really how you can take advantage of some of these opportunities that are existing in the current downturn. So look forward to seeing you if you're available, and give me a little shout out if you're going to be there. If you're there, just say hello to me while you're there, and so on. So again, 7 p.m. tomorrow at 224 2nd Street, Southeast DC, the Capitol Hill area, and it's the DC Real Estate Meetup. That's a meetup that's coordinated by Russell Brazil, who's a local real estate agent, and very successful one, and he does a lot of stuff in the DC area, and also he's pretty active in the groups at Bigger Pockets. So that's that one. I'll give another mention a bit later on. So again, later on, we're going to talk about we're going to have Q&A. So if you got some questions, don't forget to put it in the chat box, and then we'll try to get to them as possible. So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of real estate partnerships, as I said, real estate invested partnerships. And as I said earlier on, real estate partnerships can really bring like-minded people together to produce results that can really fast track your real estate career, real estate investing career, building wealth, and so on. Many people use partnerships when they start, especially in terms of dividing responsibilities and expenses, and also as a way to embark on a new adventure with someone rather than trying to do it themselves. So sometimes it's kind of scary to do it by yourself, and there are advantages in having a partner or somebody with you who can join you on the ride, as they say. So partnerships can be an excellent way to grow your business, and can be a good way where investors, since most of them, especially new investors, they don't have the seed capital to be able to do to kind of get going. So having a partner, especially a financial partner, if you're kind of short on money, it's a great way to jumpstart your real estate investing activities. And however, as I mentioned earlier on, there are some downsides and two partnerships, and that's what we're going to talk about today, the pros and the cons. So before we get too far, though, I do want to mention about the different types of partnerships. There are different types. What I'm sure people are familiar with are LLCs, limited liability companies. That's a form of partnerships. LLPs, that's kind of limited liability partnerships. S corps. So these are the entity types, and there are pros and cons with each entity type, whether it be LLC, LLPs, S corps, self proprietorships and so on. But regardless of the different types of entities, broadly speaking, you can break it down to two, from your perspective, from our perspective, into two major blocks. There's what we call active partnerships, and there are passive partnerships. There's active partnerships and passive partnerships. That's the two major categories of partnerships. And so let's kind of talk quickly about each of those. So in terms of active partnerships, this describes when all the partners are active in the day-to-day operations of the business. And this is usually formed between two or more real estate investors for the purpose of growing and that kind of allowing each partner to specialize in their area of focus. So the goal is that two people get together. Hopefully they have complementary skills, not the same skills. They get together for a purpose, which is to do business, and whether it be a fix and flip, whether it be a buy and hold, whether it be a wholesaling burr, but you form together a partnership to actually do that. So, for example, one person focuses on the financing, another person focuses on the acquisition and renovation, another person may focus on property management. But the key is that it allows each partner, to focus on their strengths. Okay, so we all have strengths, hopefully. And the idea is that you in your partnership, you're bringing something to the table. The other person is bringing something to the table, and you're leveraging both of your strengths. If it's just two people, I don't think it's a good idea to leverage your weaknesses. I think it's important to leverage your strengths. So if you got an area of weakness, rather than you building up your area of weaknesses, I would say it's probably more efficient to find somebody who's strong in where you are weak, rather than you trying to become strong in that weak area. It just takes too much time and too much effort. And so it's just easier to find somebody who is strong in that area that you are weak in. Okay, so that's the active partnerships. Then there's the passive partnerships. And, this way is, typically people use it like for raising capital. When starting in a partnership like this, you may have somebody who puts money to the table, and they're not really going to be involved on a day-to-day basis. Maybe a private investor, and they just want a return on their money. They're not going to be micromanaging you. They're going to kind of leave you to making the most of the important decisions. And but they're looking for a return on their money, so they're more of a passive, silent, partner sort of thing. And so they're the two main groups. You got the active partnerships, where everyone's involved actively in the day-to-day operations of the business, and then the partnership, the passive one, is typically where you have somebody who's kind of low-key, not involved. They just maybe bring some money to the table. But they leave in the day-to-day operations to somebody else. Okay, so most of this article, we're going to focus on the active partnership component of this thing. Okay, that's what we're going to focus on. So let's kind of talk about some of the pros of a partnership. And let me just give you a little story, maybe before I get into that too much. I entered into a couple of partnerships in the past, and I'll be transparent. They haven't always worked out the way I would like to have done, but it is what it is. That there was a role for each partner, and but people are people, humans are humans, and sometimes people don't always things don't always materialize the way you want it to be, and so on. So I've had limited success with partnerships, and that's why most of my activities I don't use partners. However, if you are starting, it may be a great way to go by. So that's just a little bit of transparency there. You know, I've done partnerships before, and but I've had mixed results. Let's just put it that way. So the pros: money, knowledge, or experience. So the idea is that you know, most people, when they form into a partnership, they're looking for somebody to bring something to the table, either money, knowledge, or experience. Okay, I mean, what else would you want somebody to come in? Otherwise, you just do it yourself if you can do it yourself. So for example, raising capital, you may have a scenario whereby you know, a person say, okay, I'll bring in the money in exchange for 50%, 40%, 60% of the profits. Okay, somebody may have good credit. Okay, so they're bringing their credit to the table and say that you know, I've got excellent credit, I've got an excellent financial statement, I'll bring that to the table. You know, and in exchange for that, I want this, I want that, and so forth. Okay, so there are different ways. So for example, I mean, I did one deal where we had a credit partner, somebody who brought their credit to the table. That's something, if you got good credit, that could be something that you could leverage. Yeah, the downside, obviously, you're gonna have to sign on the dotted line, and which means that if something goes wrong, then you know, technically you could be you know, at risk or exposed anyway. So just be careful about putting your credit on the line. You know, because you will be on the hook if the deal doesn't work out. Many banks will require, though, that all passive partners who have an ownership interest, usually about 20 to 25% or more, they need to sign what we call a personal guarantee, a guarantor. There needs to be a guarantor, guarantor on the loan. And, you know, that's if they own a certain percentage of the business. So that's something to be aware of. So if you want to bring somebody who has, you know, a large stake in the business, then they may have to sign in as a personal guarantor. So if the deal goes south, they're on the hook as well. So many new investors have difficulty raising money, and this is a great way to you know, to get together on that one. The second pro on the of partnerships is you know, it's just easier to raise what's it called, financing, easier to raise money, and so on. So the other thing is that you can learn from the experience of others. Okay, so if you have somebody who's very experienced and you don't have that experience, maybe you can bring them into the deal as a partner, so you can leverage their 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years experience, and so that way you may be more likely to get the deal done just by the fact that you have seasoned experts on your team. Okay, so you may exchange a portion of the proceeds to bring that person on board. You know, so if you're the experienced person, you could you know, leverage your skills to help a newbie. You know, I mean, for example, myself, I've been through 4 cycles. I've been through good times, bad times. I've been through deals from hell, tenants from hell, contractors from hell, realtors from hell, bureaucrats from hell. I've been through all that stuff. That's a lot of experience, which I can share to somebody who hasn't gone through that. So hopefully they can avoid making the same mistakes that I made. So, you know, you can help a newbie navigate the challenges of doing a deal. Okay, so that's something that if you're experienced, you may want to consider bringing somebody in. Likewise, if you are not experienced, you may want to search for people who are experienced so they can add on to your you know, sort of your credibility kit. So you can include a mentor, whether an active or passive mentor, but somebody with experience, you know, you can sort of leverage. So another pro is the ability to, I call it, divide and conquer responsibilities, different skill sets. I kind of alluded to that one earlier on. Nobody is excellent at everything. Okay, you're not great at everything. Nobody is. I'm not. You have strengths in maybe A, B, C, But in order to do the deal, you need skill sets in A, B, C, D, E. Okay, you're strong in A and B, but you may not be so strong in D and E, for example. So you can come together with a partner who is strong in A, B, C, D, and E, for example, and that would be a good match. You can almost say it's almost a match made in heaven. So they are strong in areas where you are weak, and hopefully you are strong in areas that they are weak. So that way you kind of complement each other. Okay, so that's another good reason why you may want to partner with somebody. You can divide and conquer the responsibilities. You have different skill sets that you can work off in order to get the deal done. Okay, so I mentioned about several pros. There's the pro, easier to raise and obtain financing. You can leverage and learn from other people's experiences. And also you can divide and conquer in terms of skill sets, roles and responsibilities, and things like that. So that's on the pro side of the partnership. Again, I hope all this is good stuff. And we're going to go down to what's it called? A Q&A session shortly. And so enter your questions in the chat box. Hopefully we'll have a robust Q&A session today, like we did last week. And don't wait until the end to put your questions, because we may not be get around to them. Put them in now, so that way I can try to answer them early, and so on. So put your questions in the chat box, and I will get to them at the end of this session. So let's talk about some of the cons of partnerships. I've talked about the pros, the cons. So what are the cons? Well, the first one is that you're going to split equity. Okay, you're gonna have to split the fruits, as they say. Instead of you getting 100% of the deal, you now have to split that with other people. Okay, so whatever you negotiate. So if you negotiate the partner getting 40%, then you'll get 60% and they'll get 40%. So before, if you didn't have that partner, you'll have all the pie. You'll have all the 100%. So there is you're gonna have to split the profit, split the deals, split the equity. From this transaction. There are other ways, though. I do want to say, in terms of raising money, you don't always need a partner per se. You may go to a hard money lender. So a hard money lender may be able to lend you most of the money, and or a private lender can lend you most or some of the money. So and some of those people, all they want is a return on their money. So they are what we call debt partners, as opposed to equity partners. They're not getting a piece of the pie; they're just getting a return on their money. It's almost like especially on larger projects, because on larger projects, which are more money is involved, you may not just have that money available. So you're just going to have partners, or you may have to get financing from hard money, banks, or private money, and so on. Which is what I do. For my deals, I use a hybrid financing, which is bank financing or hard money, but it's usually banks, then private money, and then my own personal money. Okay, so you split the equity. So if you look for additional, it is what it is. So that's one of the downsides of a partnership, is that you're going to have to split the pie. Okay, another con is costs. Okay, it can be costly. You're going to have to create the partnership agreement. You may have to register it. You're going to have to create an LLC, and it can get expensive. But I mean, LLCs, to create them, it's not really that expensive in terms of the filing fees. But you may have to engage an attorney. That may not be cheap. Because whenever you enter into a partnership, you really do want to make sure that you have the legal understanding in place. Okay, so there are legal costs. It may cost you several hundred or even several thousands of dollars just on that. So it can be costly to set up a partnership, especially a good partnership, not just one of those boilerplate documents you get from CVS or Office Max or Office Depot. You want something that's reviewed by an attorney and hopefully captures all the important things in there. Okay, another con is personality clash. As I said earlier on, you're dealing with human beings, and human beings are human beings. Sometimes you have differences of opinion, and and people have different personalities. I know when I did a partnership once, I think I shared that experience before. Another live stream. I'm a very level-headed person. The world could be smashing and burning around me, but I just kind of keep a low profile, keep a low head, and and just work through those issues. Other people, on the hand, are up and down. If something unexpected happens, they're off, and they just it's like the blood pressure is high, and they get all worked up, all get excited, and they can lose their temper, and so on. That's just not me, but there are people like that, and so it's a personality clash. So you want to make sure that you have, you're in a partnership with people of like mind, similar personalities, similar goals, and so I'm not a great fan, but it's up to you. Of being a partner with a family member. Obviously, if it's a spouse, that's one thing, but I'm talking about just generally family members, unless you really know them very, very well. Because these are families, and it's very uncomfortable if something goes wrong. You still have to interface or interact with the family members. It may affect your family relationship, your personal relationships, in addition to your business relationships. It's the same thing like some people never rent to family because it's hard to evict a brother, a sister, a mother, a father. It's very hard. And therefore, you'll be making emotional-based decisions as opposed to business decisions. So sometimes, just to avoid all that, you just kind of keep an arm's length relationship with family members, especially, and people that you that are sort of in your inner circle with your family. If you want what's it called, if you want to develop into an active partnership, I know there's a sort of a temptation, I suppose, to find somebody who's just like you. Okay, somebody who you can connect with, someone who's got similar skills as you. But that's not always a good idea, in my opinion, because the whole point of partnership is to have complementary skills, talents, expertise. So that way, each of you will bring in something to the table, and it's more likely to be sustainable. So breaking up, a partnership can be very messy. It can be expensive. It can be very tiring. It can be very exhausting. So it's really, really critical, to only partner with people that, that you've known for some time, and people that you trust, and people that you feel can help you, and you both have the same goals. So that's one of the cons, is the personality clash. Another con is possibly different goals. We may start the partnership agreeing on something, but as time goes by, somebody may decide, well, I want to do something else. You may first of all decide to start off with single family houses. Another person after a while say, well, I want to do multifamily. I want to do commercial. I want to do storage, and so on. I want 100 houses. The other person may say, I'm really interested in 10. So you have divergent goals, and which could be potential clashes as time goes by. So that's another reason why sometimes partnerships fails, is that the goals of the partners just diverge. Okay, so that's the pros and cons. So the next question is, well, how do you find a real estate partner? Okay, well, look around, and you're probably surrounded by possible candidates. You can partner with, as I said before, family members, folks in your meetup group. You can sort of have angel investors. You can network in different groups and things like that. You can go to investment clubs. You can check out Bigger Pockets and things like that. Go to forums, online forums. just be around like-minded people. That's where you can find potential partners. Okay, so but either way, you have to do your homework. Okay, get to know your potential partner well. Don't just dive in. Make sure that you can work together as a team. Make sure everyone has a similar goals in mind and the same outlook in mind, same direction in mind as yours. Be wary of anything that sounds too good to be true. It probably is. But just, it's like all things, like, like almost like a tenant. It's easy to get into. It's easy to get a tenant into your house, but it's a lot more difficult to get them out once they're in. So proceed with caution when you are trying to find a partner, and because it may be easy to get into it, but it can be very, very difficult and complicated to get out of it. But either way, there are definitely advantages associated with partnerships. So in conclusion, to kind of wrap this up, then real estate investment partnerships can be a great way to get started. It really can help you take your business to the next level. On the other hand, though, partnerships, it'll reduce your equity position. It could create potential personality conflicts or issues. The verdict, they should be used carefully. A lot of thought and due diligence before you enter into partnership. Now is the time to think about it. If you need a partner, now is the time to go look and search and research. But there are some opportunities in the market downturn, and if you need a partner to allow you to to get going, then so be it. So stop dreaming about becoming a real estate investor and get started. Okay, now is the time. If a partnership is a way that will allow you to get going, then so be it. Enter into it, take the time, and hopefully that will help you take your real estate business activities to the next level. Okay, so that's pretty much, again, I'll just briefly go through the pros and cons. But I will let me mention about the meeting tomorrow. Again, it's in Washington, D.C., 7 p.m., 224 2nd Street, Southeast D.C. I'm going to be a guest speaker at the D.C. Real Estate Meetup. And you can sign up and register for that meeting at www.dcrealestatemeetup.com. You can register there, and I'll be there talking about what I do. It'd be great if you can make it. Definitely like to see you there in person, and you can give me a little shout out and so on, so we can just talk business and talk shop and so on. So again, 7 p.m. tomorrow at the DC Real Estate Meetup. You can register at dcrealestatemeetup.com. So let me just quickly go through the pros and cons. So the pros and cons are as follows. Let's have a look at the pros. Money, knowledge, or experience. You can leverage on that. It's easier to raise money. Another pro is that you can learn from other people's experiences, and also you can divide and conquer roles and responsibilities. You can divvy up the skill sets. What you have, somebody doesn't have, and likewise what they have, you don't have. You can kind of leverage on both. In terms of the cons, you're going to split the equity. It can be expensive to set up and maintain a partnership. You may have to engage people like attorneys to make sure the documents are tight. Another cost is that potential personality conflicts, and also people have different goals. You may start off on the same page, but as time goes by, you may differ, and and so on. So these are some of the pros and cons. But overall, if that's what you have to do, then so be it. Get into a partnership. Let's not waste the opportunity that's existing in the real estate market. And hopefully today was good. So let's go down to Q&A. So again, if you have any questions, you can enter them in the chat box, and I will try to answer them there. And if you want to email me, you can reach me at joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com. And but I really hope that you can make it tomorrow at the DC Real Estate Meetup in DC. And I'll put the details again later on. So let's go down to the Q&As and see what we have here. Okay. Marlon, the investor. Hey, Marlon, how's it going? Hope all is well. Hope that you make good progress today on your opportunity, and definitely will be interesting to get an update on that one. Let's have a look. Who else is here? Sosina Dejefu. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. Hope all is well. And who's this one? Monica R. Hope you're doing well, Monica. And so on. So let's have a look. Lady Bell, I emailed you last week, but haven't heard back. I'm interested in your training for newbie investors. I'm in Southeast DC. I apologize, Lady Bell. Give me a few days. I'll definitely respond to you. As I said, I'm going to be putting together the program. I'm really excited. And I met with a banker today, in fact, local bank. And, we're going to try to firm that relationship there. And as I said, my goal is to help people execute. The new program is focused on doing deals. It's not focused on information and education. It's focused on doing deals. And the idea is that you can leverage on my experience, my network, my relationships, my tools, and my systems over 35 years, so you can do deals as well. So we're going to kind of link together real estate agents and brokers, financial institutions, contractors, my relationships with the local housing authorities. It's going to be great. And we're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And so that way you can, acquire real estate. And it's really geared towards what I call busy professionals. These are people who are top of their game, whatever they're doing. They want to get into real estate, but they just don't have the time, the systems, the relationships. And that's where I come into play. Okay. So, please, Lady Bell, I apologize. I'll checking with you probably later on this week or early next week. As we wrap, the final details. Ms. Great info. Again, if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box, and I will try to answer them as much as possible. Let's have a look. Lady Bell, hey, she's back. I'll come to the meetup tomorrow. Yes, please. I look forward to seeing you. I don't know what you look like, but hopefully, you can sort of mention, introduce yourself to me tomorrow, and definitely look forward to seeing you and communicating with you, connecting with you. And if I can help you on your journey, I really will look forward to that. So again, tomorrow, we're going to be at the DC Real Estate Meetup in Washington, DC. And 224 2nd Street, Southeast DC at 7 p.m. You can sign up at www.dcrealestatemeetup.com. That's where you can sign up tomorrow, and so on. So let's have a look. Next one is Ms. again. Hi, Ms. What's a good return on invested money? Well, it depends. If you're the lender or whether you're the investor. If you're the lender, you're borrowing your money out, then it's what you feel is fair. Some people may want 10% on their money. Some people may want 6%. Some people want 8%. A lot of people have just got their money sitting in a bank account earning 0.01% or 1%, something like that. And they know that 1% rate of return is not enough. So they're looking for a greater return. However, 5% may be enough for that person. 8% may be enough for that person, and so on. So it just depends on what you can negotiate. If they're private investors, and that's one thing. Now, if you're the investor, then obviously you want to try to reduce the cost of money. So you want to negotiate better terms, either no points or lower interest rate or whatever. So it just depends on which side of the equation you're on, whether you're the lender or whether you are the investor. What's a good return? I typically pay 8% on to my lenders and my private investors, and so it really depends on what you can negotiate and so on. So, but if you are lending your money out, then obviously, you have to negotiate with the source who's going to be a recipient of your money as to the terms, the conditions, and so on. Obviously, you want your money back, so that's the key, is make sure that the person you're lending it to knows what they're doing, and they're going to be a good steward of your hard-earned money. Okay, next question. So again, if you got some questions, put it on the chat box, and I will try to get to them as possible. Wealth and wellness with grace. Hello, wealth and wellness with grace. Great topic. I haven't found the right partners yet. However, hoping to find them someday. Well, the question is, what kind of partner are you looking for? Maybe you can tell us. What would be your ideal partner? What skill sets? What should they bring to the table? And then the other question is, why should they want to partner with you? What do you bring to the table? Because there's got to be something for for everybody. So when you say you haven't found the right partner, where have you been looking? Do you know what kind of partner you're looking for? Do you know what criteria or the sort of what attributes should that person have, or those people have? Is it clear in your mind? So that way, when you see a potential partner, it clicks, it dawns on you that yes, this could be a potentially right fit. What kind of personality should this person have? What experience do they have? What are they bringing to the table? And likewise, what are you bringing to the table for this to be successful? So there are partners out there, wealth, wellness, and grace. It's just that they're not sort of advertising, and you have to network. You have to speak to people. You may have to do some online. You may have to go to a RIA meeting. You may have to, but I think the root of it is to clearly understand from your perspective what it is that you are looking for from a partner. Okay, let's have a look. Next question. Got some good questions today. So again, if you got some questions, please put it in. I have a northwest property that I need to rehab, then turn into investment rental property. Where do I start? I have a northwest property, okay, that I need to rehab, then turn into an investment rental property. Where do I start? Well, different ways, Louis. I mean, obviously, I can help you. If you already bought it, then you can leverage my team, my relationships, my systems, my tools. I don't know which quadrant, which part of the Northwest DC you're in. It's what the rents are, how much the condition of the property, how much renovations require. I don't know any of that stuff. But I can definitely help you out, Louis, if you want to shoot me an email. And I definitely will try. My email is this one, joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com, and I'll see what I can do. But short of me, you could go to RIA meetings, where you have people who are a bit more experienced and seasoned, and you may be able to find a potential source there. You're going to do some rehabs, so you want some references from contractors. Hopefully you have the financing in place. If not, then obviously you're going to need sources of money. If you're going to rent it out, then what is the ideal tenant you're looking for? Are you looking for a market renter? Are you looking for a voucher holder tenant? How many bedrooms do you want to turn this thing into? How many bathrooms do you want? What's the condition? What's the how much do you want to spend? What's the ARV? I mean, there's a lot of questions that I think need to be answered, and hopefully it's not too overwhelming. But I definitely can, I think, be a resource for you, Louis, and so you can reach out to me, and we can see what we can do. Again, you can reach out to me at joe@joeasamoah.com. Again, another shout out. I'm going to be at the DC Real Estate Meetup tomorrow. It's at 7 p.m. Location is 224 2nd Street, Southeast DC. If you want to register, attend, please register at www.dcrealestatemeetup.com. dcrealestatemeetup.com. That's where you're going to be tomorrow. Okay, let's have a look. Louis, I'll try to come out to the real estate meetup tomorrow. Okay, good. Look forward to seeing you. Shep, the PE guy. Hi, Shep, the PE guy. Is there an ideal, I suppose it's ideal structure for buy and hold versus value add with the intent to sell it immediately? Is there a structure? Okay, so I think you're talking about what's the ideal structure for buy and hold versus fix and flip? Because I'm assuming that intent to sell immediately, after you've added value, that's AKA flipping. So what's the best entity? Again, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, so I'm not providing legal or financial advice. But I think that you do want to speak to somebody who can advise you better. A lot of my partnerships I do in LLCs, and then you can have, there are different types of LLCs in terms of the designation. So that's something you want to do or consider. Then it becomes a matter of where also do you want to register the entity? What jurisdiction do you want it to be in? That's important. Some people say that fix and flip should be in, I don't think it's S corps. It could be C corps or LLCs. Again, that's not my area of expertise, Shep. All I can tell you is that most of my entities are in LLCs, and my buy and hold, I've done some flips in the past, and I did those in LLCs, and it seemed to be okay. So the only downside, though, if you do it in LLCs, is that you pretty much have to get commercial financing versus residential Fannie Mae type financing. So commercial financing is a little bit more expensive. The interest rates are a little bit higher. You don't have the 30-year fixed. You tend to have amortized over 25 years, 5, 7, and 10 years, loans. So which means that every 5, 10, or 12 years, or 5, 7, or 12 years, 5, 7, and 10 years, then you have to do what we call re-up. You have to, reapply and so on. So that's the downside of that one. So again, if you got some questions, please put it in the chat box, and I will try to get to them. Hopefully today's session is good. So it looks like based on the feedback, it's been helpful, it's been insightful, and that's my goal for all these sessions, is to provide you with quality information, so that way the time that you spent with me, hopefully it was well worth it. So I'm going to kind of call it, unless I get some more questions, I'm going to kind of wrap it up today. But again, I'm going to be there tomorrow at the meetup in Washington, D.C. And the last time is going to be at 7 p.m., 224 2nd Street in Southeast DC, 224 2nd Street, Southeast DC. It's in the Capitol Hill area of DC. And you can register by going to the website, www.dcrealestatemeetup.com. That's dcrealestatemeetup.com is where you can register for the session tomorrow. And there, my friends, is it for today. So hopefully that was helpful. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. If not tomorrow, I will see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Wealth Wednesday. So have yourself a wonderful night. Take care. Bye for now.